There we go.
Hello, everybody. How are you all doing? And welcome to the fourth, fifth, or third in the series of FlyLight Goes Live. I can't quite remember how many it is. Tonight, we're very pleased to welcome Paul Dewhurst from FlyLight Airsports. Paul's been running FlyLight Airsports up at Sywell since 1995. No mean achievement there. And he's just bought up. I think you're the newest UK manufacturer of aircraft. So the head of Airbus and everything else there. So tonight we're going to have a good chat with Paul. Have a chat about microlighting and the new aircraft that he's building. Have a chat about some EASA regs which have changed very recently, which are exceedingly good. It may have taken a long time to get there, but it seems like it's worth getting there. We've got some magazine updates, some general chit-chat and all the rest of it. And we'll just, chew the fat, see what goes on. And I went flying today, so I'm happy. So, Paul, over to you. Dave, take it away.
So Paul, you've just launched your first ready-to-fly Skyranger Ninja, and also the Swift. Tell us a little bit about the aircraft.
Well, we first got involved back in just 2001, I think, and we saw the Skyranger, which at the time was a French machine, and we thought that it would be a really good fit for the UK market. And we were a bit naive. We thought, how difficult can it be to bring an aircraft into the UK market? And we bought one and set about it, and soon ran into Section S and having to redesign various bits of it and certify it. But we did that, and then it sold really well. And we're up to, we've done kits up till now, and we're up to just about 300 in the UK now. And and we became probably his best dealer, surprisingly, even though we're quite a small country. And because we'd engaged technically with the aeroplane, we helped out with the development of the next model, the Swift, and then the next model, the Ninja. And then Philippe, the designer, sadly got ill in 2016 and then died. And we ended up buying the design rights and being in charge of the whole thing. So up until about a year ago, we were really just concentrating on the kits and getting all the supply lines and everything working for that. But we thought that we ought to be selling it ready to fly. So we embarked on that and got through the dreaded A81 approval and just finished our first machine. And the second one's just about ready for test flying now as well.
So you're a fully blown aircraft manufacturer now, one of the few in the UK.
Yes, I mean, really, all we wanted to be able to do was to do what our kit customers were able to do at home in their garage. And of course, it's not quite that simple to do that in the UK. So you have to go for the full CAA A81 approval, and you have to have all your supply lines looked at very carefully. You have to write an exposition. You have to have lots of technical staff engaged, and you have to follow quite a detailed set of rules and procedures. It's all fairly straightforward, but it takes quite a bit of time to organise and get done. And now we can do exactly what our customers do at home, and we can supply them factory built.
Yeah. So what's the difference between the Swift and the Ninja? They're both Skyrangers, aren't they?
That's right. I mean, in the beginning, there was the Skyranger, and the Swift was a development from the Skyranger, effectively shortening the wings, which made it more suitable for the bigger Rotax 4-stroke engines, and we tidied up quite a few details and bits and pieces. And that aeroplane is all fabric covered. And then the Ninja essentially has instead of being fabric covered, it's covered with glass fiber panels on the fuselage. So it has no fabric. It's just completely covered with glass fiber. It's a slightly different shape at the back and the nose. It's a bit cleaner. And therefore it performs just a little bit better, and it enables some more windows in it as well, so there's a little bit more visibility, and it's just a slightly more sophisticated version of the Swift, really. And
you've got these, you're putting these out the door at an incredible price. Could you just tell us about the pricing structure?
Yeah, the cheapest one is the Swift, and that starts at 36,000 plus VAT, and that's ready to fly with the Rotax 912 80 horsepower engine and a basic VFR instrument fit. And then the Ninja is a little bit more. That starts at 41,000 plus VAT, again with the 80 horsepower Rotax. And then you can add the 100 horsepower Rotax 912 ULS if you want. Give it a little bit more climb and a bit more zing in the takeoff. And you can add a few extra bits and pieces as well, avionics and some more creature comforts.
So, as well as being an aircraft manufacturer and before that delivering kits, you're also very well known for competing in Microlight events. You've got about maybe how many, about 85 medals, or
not quite that many, but
yeah.
yeah. I mean, I worked for a long time. My job was a flying instructor, basically, and the flying instruction is great, and it's wonderful if you like people and getting them flying, but you don't actually get to do a huge amount of your own flying. So my kind of escape to keep my enthusiasm going was to fly competitions. So I initially started in flex-wing microlights, flying the FAI competitions, the European and the World Championships, and then latterly changed to the Sky Ranger, which I campaigned for quite a number of years.
You've got a number of gold medals, several in fact.
Yeah, I think about 5. I think.
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question here? Because
Yeah, sure.
I should know this really, but when you go and fly a microlight competition, what does that actually consist of?
It's a good question. It's a variety of tasks, really. Most of them are navigation based, so it's precision navigation without GPS, and you might have to fly a particular
I've lost interest
course.
already.
Sorry?
I said I've lost interest already. I can't
Yeah,
find
no GPS.
Sorry.
And you get scored. Well, you do have a GPS, but you can't see anything on it. It's just a spy in the cab, so it tells the organizer exactly where you've been to the meter. And if you haven't been in quite the right place, you get points docked. So there's precision navigation with all sorts of little wrinkles on that. We do some fuel limited tasks, which kind of harking back to Microlight starting off as powered hang gliders, I guess. So we're given a limited quantity of fuel and have to plan to either make distance or duration, do thermaling. And we also do lots of precision tasks as well, lots of spot landings and short landings and landing over obstacles and things like that.
Cool.
And I think that the UK has been pretty successful over the years, hasn't it, as a team?
Yeah, we had a really good, we still have a really good UK team, and we used to go and clean up most of the medals, much to the distress of some of the other countries.
You did particularly well in the World Air Games, didn't you? A few years ago.
Yeah, we did. The World Air Games was quite an interesting format. They weren't interested in 3-axis microlights. They wanted something that didn't look like a normal aeroplane. So we did it in flex-wing trikes. And they decided that we should do pylon racing. So we went out armed with Pegasus Quickars, which are the fastest things. And we had to fly in Dubai, initially in the desert over the dunes, scaring the camels, and then they moved us to the seafront, and we were doing it over the sea from the Skydive Dubai set up. So we were racing along at about 110 miles an hour, which is fast for a trike, just off the ground, banking at 90 degrees around the pylons, and enjoying ourselves. It was really good fun. And the Brits cleaned up again.
That looked like it was a really spectacular place to fly as well.
Yeah, it really was a kind of a once in a lifetime opportunity, I think. But it was amazing. The backdrop, the dunes, the sea, and the whole everything else going on to go and watch as well was really good.
Yeah.
So you've pretty much done everything there is in microlighting, Paul. What would you say the state of microlighting is in the UK at the moment? Is it in a healthy place or what?
It's a good question, really, and one that the microlight community debates all the time. I mean, one of the big changes we've had recently is that we lost P&M Aviation, which was our big flex-wing manufacturer. And if you go back 20 years, it was 70% of microlighting was flex-wing, and that slowly changed. And we're far more fixed wing now as the weight limit changed, and we got some good 4-stroke engines and some more capable aeroplanes. We've gone more and more fixed wing, and the flex wing market has been kind of just a bit struggling to know what to do. Should it make cheap planes? Should it make, super fast, state of the art, high tech ones? And there was a series of restructuring. Main Air joined with Pegasus and became P&M, and then there was various things happened, and products that didn't sell, and eventually, unfortunately, they've gone bust. So now we've got no UK flexwing two-seater manufacturer, and the flexwings that are selling are all single-seaters. We at FlyLight make some single-seater ones to fit in the sub-70 category and also the SSDR category, and they're still selling fairly well. But we're in a bit of a difficult place with a flexwing. As far as fixed wing goes, that's reasonably healthy. We've got quite a number of schools doing quite well, and looking forwards, hopefully, to a weight limit increase, the 600 kilo category that looks like it might happen, which should provide a really good opportunity to just do a little bit more with the same kind of regulation as Microlights, and hopefully reinvigorate things a bit more.
So
Paul, sorry, Dave. I've just got a couple of questions that have popped up. So I wonder if this is a good time just to pop them in quickly, if that's okay. So the first one, if you can see it, can you ask Paolo? There must be a story behind that somewhere. If you've got a 3-axis SSDR in the pipeline.
No, we haven't. I'd like to, and I've sketched lots of things and even drilled bits of aluminium, but the sad realities of having to earn a living and concentrate on getting the approvals for factory-built Ninjas has meant that's taken a bit of a backseat.
So next week then?
Yeah.
Excellent. And another question there. When the CA relaxes weight limits, will the same Sky Ranger be able to fly heavier immediately, or will it require modifications or paperwork or something else, I guess?
It all depends at what level. I mean, we at the moment we're cleared to 472.5 kilos if we carry a parachute. So I would hope that immediately, if you don't have a parachute, you'll be able to move to 472.5 kilos, which would give another nearly 30 litres of fuel carrying capacity. And then we've got mod packages that we can apply to the earlier ones. We've got a step to take them to 500 kilos, and we've recently done a whole load of wing tests for 600 kilos, which just needs a couple of small modifications, and we're working on an uprated main landing gear that to try and take that all the way to 600 kilos as well.
Excellent.
Yeah. So on the continent, in mainland Europe, the Microlights over there appear to be able to have retractable undercarriage and adjustable props and all that sort of thing. Do you see that coming to the UK?
What's happened across Europe, although we've got a maximum takeoff weight that's all the same across Europe, each individual country has had its own rules on how heavy the aeroplane can be empty. Some countries haven't even got an empty weight limit, so you could have a 449 kilo aeroplane, and if you can find a 1 kilo pilot, you can go flying. So some countries, it's quite easy to build aeroplanes with retractable undercarriage and variable pitch prop, and it to be really quite heavy. But in the UK, we've got some slightly stricter rules which are trying to ensure that you can put two people that are not incredibly small and have some fuel and still be able to fly. So when we get this weight limit increase, then that will allow all those kind of things to be possible. Although, of course, you're still going to have to prove them and certify them.
Just got another question that's popped up here. Jonathan Holland, there are a lot of people who love the concept of machines like the Team Airbike, 3-axis, open SSDR flying. Sensible money, just something that deserves more consideration.
Yeah, I mean, the problem with single seaters is that you kind of need all the same bits as you do with a two-seater. You know, you need the same amount of wheels, you need control surfaces, you need control mechanisms, you need tails and wings and things. It's just that everything's a little bit smaller. So it's not actually that easy to build a single-seater that is hugely cheaper than a simple two-seater. But the problem is people's expectations are that it should really be quite cheap. You know, if it's much more than £10,000-15,000, people think that's too expensive for a single-seater. So it really is quite a challenge to build a single-seater that you can have a market for and that you can earn some money out of. It's not impossible, but it is a challenge.
Yeah. So harking back to the instruction front, I don't know if you and Dave have spoken about this before, but do you recognise Dave from anything? He's not sort of scared you in the past or burnt his image into your brain?
It was quite a while ago. Was it at Sandy, Dave?
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember.
Yes. Just to explain what's happened there is that Paul was my flying instructor when I started flying on Microlights at this little airfield potato patch, really, near Sandy. And we went out on an AX3 one day. I don't know if you remember this particular incident, but you demonstrated engine failure after takeoff. And the recovery was just that close to the ground. I could have leant out the cockpit and picked a potato. But all very expert, and I was very impressed, and I carried on from there.
Yeah. Well, we like to try and make it as realistic as we can.
Well,
safe, hopefully.
Yes, yeah.
Is anyone typing here?
I don't know. There's a mouse in the system somewhere.
There's something, isn't there?
Something.
Sean wants to know if it's someone's pacemaker. Don't think so, but yeah, there's no one here. Honestly, it's just the internet or something.
Yeah.
So, sorry, Ed.
I was about to say we're about to be hacked by some teenager somewhere.
There's supposed to be like a new executive order being issued by Donald Trump today for social media companies, isn't there?
Is there? Well, I think more importantly, someone's figured it out. Someone said it's Paul Sengupta eating cake.
Absolutely. So are these aeroplanes ready and rolling out ready to roll out if someone turns up with the money?
Yeah, I mean we've only got a small crew building at the moment, so at the moment we've only got capability factory built for about 8 or 10 a year. COVID has been a bit of a problem because we've had some of our guys on furlough, so we're a little bit slow at the moment.
Yeah.
But yeah, and the idea is that as we get a little bit more practice at building them, we'll get more staff, and assuming there's a good demand, we'll get more staff and turn more out the door.
Excellent.
Nice.
Good. So just
I was going to say, out of interest, Paul, if you had the chance to make anything, cost no kind of restriction, what would you make?
What would I make?
Yeah,
I don't know. There's lots of airplanes I'd like to fly.
Yeah,
but making them requires quite a lot of different techniques and bits and pieces. But something like the black shape prime is something I'd really like to get my hands on and fly for sure.
Did you knock that out for 36 grand?
Well, it'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yes.
Right. So, should we move on to perhaps talk a little bit about how the issue's coming on, Ed?
Yeah, come on, Ed.
There's a couple of things I can report on for the next issue, and that's the Flying Adventure. That's a really great piece by American photographer Garrett Fisher, who's now based in Europe, and he spent 40 hours flying over a 3-month period in Sion, Switzerland, in his Piper Cub with 1949 PA-11. And it's basically his project was to visit all 82 peaks at over 4,000 meters in the Alps, and photograph them all. And he's written it up for a tale in the magazine. And that's a pretty good adventure in an aeroplane with 1 fuel tank, no heat, and a 100 horsepower engine. So
yeah.
So we got that, and the other highlight is we got a review of the new Garmin GI275 retrofit 3 1/8 inch EFIS that can be a flight instrument or an HSI or an engine information system. Why are you saying that when you're drunk? And the answer certification of that is coming soon. So a couple of highlights there for the next issue.
They're the instruments that can drop straight into an ordinary round panel, can't they?
Into a round hole, yeah. And depending on what functions you pick, you can have it do a whole bunch of different things, and it'll do clever stuff like even talk to an autopilot, not just Garmin, but all sorts of other legacy manufacturer kit.
It's just one of those real challenges, the little GI275, because it does so many different things, but it's really difficult to explain in a short time to someone everything it can do. So
Yes. Yeah.
I think Garmin probably just need to spend more money on advertising to explain it. There's a quick question for Paul here. I've seen a video of a tail wheel. Who is that typing? Stop typing, whoever you are. Video of tail wheel Sky Ranger in France. Any plans? Paul?
Paul.
Sorry, is that for me?
Yes.
For you? Yeah.
Can you
Tail wheel
say
Sky
again?
Ranger. No?
What was that, sorry?
Is there any chance of a tail wheel Sky Ranger?
A tail wheel Sky Ranger, yeah. I've there is a tail wheel kit for one that was done by Philippe, the previous designer, but it doesn't look terribly nice, and I think it might struggle to get through some of the load tests. So I've got a scheme, I've got a plan, and I hope to get round to it hopefully before too long, and make a nice tail dragger version and put the obligatory giant tires on it, and go and find some fields to fly from.
That sounds like it should be terrible. No fun at all. Sorry, back to the issue, Ed.
No, that's it for the issue update.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we have got about another 4 or 5 minutes to go. So, in terms of news, what's happening in the news? Let's have a look. EASA. Just stop typing, whoever you are, please. Anyway, yeah. So the where are we? The EASA rules. We've spoken about it a little bit. That is going to be pretty big, isn't it? If people can, we need to understand them a little bit better, and maybe we'll work on that for next week. But if people can keep their licenses current and even train on microlights towards the EASA PPLs, then that's pretty. That's a fairly big thing, particularly when combined with the 600 kilo stuff. Assuming that the UK follows suit. I mean, I guess we will for a couple of years, but we could diverge and decide not to, theoretically, I suppose. Have you heard? Does anyone know whether the CA is going to follow suit? No.
Well, it's come to light because of EASA has released some new guidance material, and Europe Air Sports, the organisation that looks after light aviation at EASA level, they reported on it recently. That I think in our next issue, Ed, we've got a piece going into it a bit further, explaining it a bit more, because it is, reading EASA regulations and guidance material is only guaranteed to do one thing, which is send you to sleep. So we need to get our team translator onto it to make a proper job of explaining it.
Yeah.
But
that'll
be a bit of a game changer for microlights, I think.
Yeah.
Because if you can keep
definitely.
your license current.
I think we struggle a little bit because we used to be quite a good modular route. You could come and do some microlight flying. You could then very easily hop onto a PEPL, and then you could then use that and go commercial. And it was a nice little stepwise route, which the last few years has kind of been cut away from us. So if we can count the hours again, I think it all just makes everything work. Flying hours is flying hours. If you got it in little aeroplanes, then that's great for handling skills and things, and it's good if you can carry that forward.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And then I guess we need to also mention Technam announced a new model yesterday as well. So it's not just the Ninja that's new out there. It's basically a diesel version of the. That's interesting. A diesel version of the. There's obviously some sound feedback. I might have a look at that here. Thank you very much. Yeah, a diesel version of the P210, the four-seaters, come with their 172 thing. It'll be interesting to see how that goes.
I'll be intrigued to see what that's like, because it's technically got probably a heavier engine that's slightly lower power than the P2010 has normally, because that normally has a 210 horsepower Lycoming. So
yeah, exactly. So it'll be interesting to see what it's like. Hopefully, when we can actually move around, we can pop over to Italy and go fly it and see. Or maybe they should bring us one here.
That'd be nice.
It'll be nice. Yeah, Technam, bring your P210 diesel over.
Yeah, just the other newsworthy thing was Magni X or Magimix. seems to think, flew their fully electric Cessna Caravan, which I guess is one step removed from a blender.
That must be amazing. I mean, I wonder how much of the cabin of the Caravan was taken up with batteries.
It's interesting. If you look at when they flew their e-Beaver project at the beginning of 2020, end of 2019 or beginning of 2020, if you looked in through the back cabin doors, the aeroplane was full of batteries.
Yeah.
I suspect a Caravan makes a good platform to load up with that kind of kit, but still an amazing achievement nonetheless.
Yeah, no, absolutely. You've got to take these steps to get there. You don't get to the ultimate goal straight away in one hop, do you? Yes.
That's it. How about an electric Ninja or an electric Sky Ranger, Paul?
Yeah, I think it would be a really good idea. I mean, we've dabbled with electric. We made an electric version of our Dragonfly Trike a few years ago for a German customer, and that would fly for all of 20 minutes. But it was it was good. It took off and climbed and was quiet and smooth. And we've got a very old Microlight called a Laser, which was notable because it had two little engines on the wing. And we did a little project, one of our club members here, who's an electric guy at Cambridge University, and put two large model aeroplane engines on that and flew that. And again, it would do about half an hour. So we've had a dabble with electric. And certainly one of the good things about one of the aims of increasing the weight limit to 600 kilos is it does allow that kind of development on Microlight type platforms. At the moment, under the Microlight weight limit, we're just too tight on weight to get any sensible duration. But with a little bit more weight, it all becomes possible.
Fantastic.
Brilliant. Well, we're at 19:56 and 40 seconds, which means it's 4 minutes to the. I think is tonight supposed to be the last clapping or something?
It's the last clapping tonight.
Yeah, I bet it isn't. Anyway, so we're going to thank everyone for viewing. Thank you, Paul, for coming along. Thank you, Ed. Thank you, Dave.
Congratulations on the amazing achievement with the aeroplane, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. And the normal, if you're watching this on YouTube, which you probably aren't at the moment, anyway, don't forget to click like and subscribe and all the rest of it, but you might be in the future. Otherwise, thank you very much. Fly safely, and we'll see you all next week. Cheers.
Cheers all. Bye.
Everyone. Bye.